Time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Ooh-wee. What is going on, everybody? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You're checking out the RCWR show. Lee Sanders with you guys. It is now Monday morning, early Monday morning, May 27th, 2024. We are minutes removed from AEW Double or Nothing. Look, I don't care if it's TNA, if it's WWE, if it's AEW. I don't care who the promotion is. Me personally, I don't know about you guys, but I am finding as I get older, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. My attention span is only going to go, but so far this was a long-winded pay-per-view offering that we got from AEW this go round, and to think that next month there's going to be another AEW pay-per-view as well. I'm definitely going to be taking that night off because pretty much what's going down in June is another collaboration between AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're bringing back the Forbidden Door event, so I'm definitely going to be bowing out on that one. Shout out to you guys that plan on covering it or gonna check it out. Combination of both. With me, I'm bowing out on that one. But yeah, this was pretty long-winded. And this is me saying these things even though I didn't check out the pre-show. I know there was at least one or maybe two matches at most that went down during the pre-show. I didn't even bother checking those out because I was out running errands. But, yo, let's dive into these matches because, man, I'll tell you what, when I had finally sat down to look at the card for Double or Nothing, I said to my wife beforehand, I said, man, this is going to be one long night. And I told her how many matches was on the card, and she said, yeah, that sounds about right. But we had 12 matches total. It looks like 2 matches was part of the pre-show. Deonna Purrazzo defeating Thunder Rosa via pinfall. This went down during the pre-show. Sucks that match was on pre-show. I would have loved to have seen that on the actual card because I did see what's been going down with both of these girls the past couple of weeks, and I've been enjoying their rivalry and everything. This was definitely worthy of being on the actual pay-per-view card, even if it meant you had to trim some minutes off of a match here and there on the actual card. Deonna Purrazzo, Thunder Rosa definitely should have made it to the actual card. Meanwhile, also as part of the pre-show, Daddy Ass, Billy Gunn, and the Acclaimed defeated Cage of Agony's Brian Cage and Gates of Agony. It was a trios match, 11 minutes, 45 seconds. To the actual pay-per-view card we go now. By the way, for those of you that had checked out Double or Nothing, I'm curious, be honest, how did you check it out? Was it a case where a friend of yours was doing a streaming party and you participated that way? Did you do the illegal stream method, or did you order the pay-per-view through traditional satellite cable provider outlets, or maybe you did it through Bleacher Report? I want to know how you guys ended up checking out the pay-per-view and everything. Actual pay-per-view card, though, Will Ospreay defeating Roderick Strong to become your new AEW Intercontinental Champion. Yo, I've got nothing but love for Will Ospreay. I've got nothing but good things to say about Will Ospreay, and I agree with my colleagues. I agree with the majority of the community. This guy is definitely the future of the business. This man, without a doubt, is going to be a force to reckon with for many years to come. And I just am enjoying the hell out of this ride right now that's going on with Will Ospreay. I cannot sing enough praises for this man. Now, the match itself, for my personal taste, felt a little bit overbooked in a lot of areas, but considering the fact that it's Roderick Strong and Will Ospreay, you're just saying, look, two of the absolute best. Who cares? Just sit your ass down and watch these two men go to work. And they had some pretty good spots here and there throughout the match. Although there was one spot that I was really, really concerned about. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about if you had watched it. There was a really scary incident that had happened on the floor. And that, for me, kind of made me have serious trepidations and great concern for several minutes. Because it just seemed like, man, you guys dodged a serious bullet there, because that could have gone down extremely ugly. But, you know, after I got past how I was feeling in that initial moment and everything started to be, you know, pretty good. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good opener for your official pay-per-view card when it's all said and done. Post-match, Adam Cole comes out just for no random reason whatsoever. I was kind of under the impression maybe he was going to give some tough love talk to Roderick Strong, but that wasn't the case at all. And I pretty much had laughed and loved how Ospreay and Roderick Strong just magically disappeared as Adam Cole takes to the ring. He grabs a microphone. He talks about how it's story time. Okay, so what do we got going on here as far as story time goes? He's playing around with his devil mask, bringing up the fact that when he's 100%, everybody will be forced to deal with the devil. Pretty much give the devil his due, all that stuff. Next thing you know, we see on the Titantron this room, and you're going, what's going on here with this room? Why are we being shown this room? And you start to hear the beginnings of MJF's theme music. It was just rearranged. And you're wondering, MJF, could it be? Is it actually MJF? Is he returning? What's going on here? And we get to this mannequin that is wearing one of the traditional MJF outfits that we've been accustomed to over the years, includes the scarf and all. You go, okay, all right, so it is about MJF. Okay, now the question becomes, as you're watching this, so does this mean MJF is returning here at Double or Nothing, or we're just kind of planting the seeds, we're just going to continue to tease here? Well, we wouldn't have to wait that long, because MJF's official theme music played. He comes on now and doing his best 2002 Triple H returning to WWE Madison Square Garden after tearing his quad and being out for a year. He comes back ripped, buffed, bigger, badder, meaner than ever, wearing his denim leather jacket and jeans. I remember all of that very vividly. I still actually have that on VHS. And you know what? This Memorial Day holiday, I will actually check out my DVD and VHS section, and I will take a picture and I will post it on social media. So be on the lookout for that. But I remember that moment was so magical. It was so monumental. It stuck with me. It was for me, one of the most coolest badass moments, not just in WWE history, but in wrestling history, seeing Triple H return. How much did I enjoy that particular moment? So besides the VHS tape, I remember last year for Christmas when it was getting to that point, I said to my wife, oh my God. She goes, what? I said, you'll never believe this, but they've got the Triple H denim jacket available on WWE's shop. And she goes, really? I said, yeah, how much do they want? I'm like, oh, it's about, I think at that point it was maybe $300. I said, yeah, that is one fine, badass jacket. I'm digging it. Next thing I know, wifey surprises me a few months later. Christmas, I get that jacket. Because I told her the whole story about how that was one of my favorite moments and all that. But, yeah, so I get nothing but smiles on my face when I think about that moment. So to see MJF come out with the denim jacket and all that, yeah, not only am I having shades of the Triple H stuff, but I'm also looking and going, yo, it's MJF. MJF is back. And I will be perfectly honest with you guys in regards to MJF. Sorely, greatly missed, greatly needed. Don't get me wrong. Swerve, and we'll talk about him in a hot little bit, he's been doing just fine. Samoa Joe as well, doing just fine. But without MJF added into the mix and just the way that he was able to intertwine so many rivalries at the same time when he was active on the roster, he made things interesting. He really did. And without him added into the mix, even the most hardcore AEW fan could take a step back and say, something's missing here. There's something that's pretty lacking. So for MJF to return, this was great. We've heard the rumblings as far as he's potentially done with AEW, right? All this stuff that was going on. Well, all that was settled and put to silence once and for all as MJF came on out there. Adam Cole thinking he was going to be able to throw up the hands and pretty much let bygones be bygones and everything. MJF going in for the hug, kicking Adam Cole in the balls. Good stuff. I loved it, man. I laughed my ass off when that went down. Followed up with a brain buster. Pretty much you had officials, personnel check up on Adam Cole, pretty much taking him to the back. MJF grabbing a microphone in that situation, started insulting Adam Cole. And then from there, talked about how he gave his trust to Adam Cole. And because of Cole, yeah, that's never happening again. From there, he went on to talk about how in the instance of what happened with Adam Cole and how long he been out, he pretty much had been reflecting on his future and everything. And pretty much he let the crowd know that as far as he's concerned, he is the greatest wrestler on God's green earth. He's better than you, and you know it. Unlike Adam Cole and all the other smucks in the back, he doesn't need a New Japan or a Vince McMahon. As far as he's concerned, he made himself. MJF made MJF. So no more kangaroo kicks, no more, no more friendships, buddy chum crap, no more devil mask stuff, devil by the horns, none of that crap. It's pretty much back to basics, back to business as usual. Good stuff right here. I liked it. It was a great return for MJF. The right type of a promo for this Double or Nothing crowd, letting them know exactly, what you can expect going forward. And I think it was a very positive message that sent. Because let's be honest, there was those of us, myself included, I'm not really feeling this whole kangaroo best friend stuff. Like, come on, can we just get past all of this already? Like, what the hell? So the fact that he's going to be going back to basics here, totally down with that. Ended things by talking about how you can call him the Wolf of Wrestling because he's not leaving. And this was a telling tale right here. He actually got on his, what was it, guys? Was it his right calf muscle? He got a AEW tattoo on the back of that, pretty much letting everybody know while on the microphone verbalizing it. He's not leaving. He's not going anywhere. Now, I thought that last part of the promo, not sure about you guys, but for me personally, I thought that last little bit of the promo felt very forced. It felt like, hey, we need that rah moment. Can you know, only thing that was missing was MJF saying, this is AEW, we're the best wrestle. And then it's like, oh, dude, like, come on, right? But good promo overall. Second match on the card, the Unified Trios titles being defended by the Bang Bang Gang's Jay White, Austin, and Colton Gunn against Death Triangle's Pac, Rey Fenix, Penta, El Zero, Miedo. Bang Bang Gang going over in this one, about 12 minutes over. By the way, what did you guys think about tonight's AEW Double or Nothing? Sound off. I got the poll up on youtube.com/the RCWR show. Shout out to our YouTube community, by the way. I was checking out the analytics. We're picking up in views. We're picking up in subscribers as well. I think before the week is out, I think we're going to hit 14,000 subs. We are so damn close to 15,000 subs that I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So come on, come all, keep it coming and everything. But vote on youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab and you can vote that way. I saw some early votes starting to trickle on, then we'll get to those later on in the show. You can also cast your vote on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR show. Getting back to my thoughts about this trios match, Bang Bang Gang retaining the titles. Look, to each its own, but I was very detached from this one. I thought it was a average match at most. Remember what I said earlier about, hey, Deonna, Purrazzo, Thunder Rosa? I would have flipped those. I would have flipped those. That's just me, to each its own. But I got extremely bored with, and I've been bored with the Bang Bang Gang for the past couple of weeks now. I mean, I'm happy for Jay White. I'm happy that creatively there's now a little bit of momentum being put behind him and everything, but it just feels to me like this is only going to go but so far. And if you are a Jay White fan, you're pretty much tolerating it because you're a big fan of his. Make no mistake about it, for the record. Make no mistake about it. Hear me out. Jay White, a phenomenal competitor in the ring. I love his in-ring work. I'm just saying, as far as this Bang Bang Gang stuff, it's just, for me, it's just not clicking. I'm going to continue to be consistent in regards to my critique of Austin and Colton Gunn. I think highly of them. Leaps and bounds of improvement as a tag team. They're good. They are good. They are coming along. But this all with the Bang Bang Gang is just not, it's not gelling for me, man. It's just not. I got a little bit of a smile on my face seeing Juice Robinson make his return. He pretty much came in the last couple of seconds of this match, pretty much ensuring that the Bang Bang Gang retain their titles and all that. I can't believe I'm saying the Bang Bang Gang. That it just sounds, even that itself, it just sounds so corny. Bang Bang Gang. It's just, you can't say BBG, right? Can't go that route because that's going to make a few people chuckle and think of some naughty things and all that. But I could have done without this match on the card, honestly. That's just me. To each its own, but that's just me. Now, the third matchup, this was one of, I would say, two of my favorite matches off the entire card tonight. Of course, I'm talking about the AEW Women's Championship match. Toni Storm defending against Serena Deeb. Let me tell you something, man. I have been following the work of Serena Deeb for a long time. I have followed her work since she was on the Independents, long before she even was doing her thing in WWE for a good hot minute and all that. I've always loved the work of hers, and I felt that as far as one of the best in-ring technical wrestlers that's out there, that's a female, I have always thought highly of Serena Deeb to the point, hey, she don't get her flowers enough. Yeah, it's a damn shame she don't get her flowers enough. And the fact that she's from right here in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, that just puts even more icing on the cake because over here, we always like rooting on the hometown. Now, sure, some people say, well, that's a no-brainer for any. Ah, man, when it comes to this region particularly, oh, man, we are just over the moon and back. We're almost like fanatics when we hear somebody makes it big, right? Especially if you can see them on TV every single week and all that stuff. But Serena Deeb, Toni Storm, I thoroughly enjoyed this match. One of the best on the entire card. To have the technician in Serena Deeb going up against pretty much the brawling style that is of Toni Storm, I thought the two styles clashed very well together. Other people may look at this match and they may think of it on a lower scale, especially as far as rating it, but I'm not going to budge on that. I thought that what these two girls went out there and did tonight, I have been watching both of these women in AEW since they pretty much arrived. And I'm going to jump out there and I'm going to tell you respectfully because I am a big fan and supporter of women's wrestling. Right down to the point of, shout out to LuFisto. Shout out to my girl LuFisto. LuFisto is going to be making her move to Florida in the next couple of days so she can get that much needed surgery. So very happy to hear that. But I love this match so much so, and just thinking about these two girls particularly, I'm going to jump out there and I'm going to say that this was probably to date their best singles match that they've had in AEW up until this point. You feel me? That's how good this was. So if there was one match from this card, I'm going to say, yo, if you can, go out of your way, check this out. Like, you got to watch this match. I'm definitely going to say you got to do this one. If you don't want to sit through all 12 matches, you just, hey, give me the real meat and potatoes. This is one of the first couple of matches that I'm going to say you need to watch this. These girls, they did good. This really could have gone either way, too. I loved how many times throughout this match it seemed as though Serena Deeb had Toni Storm's number, but then somehow Toni Storm was just able to keep staying in it and everything. What is going on with the Luther? What's going on with Luther? It kind of seems as though maybe we're trying to add some friction. For those of you that's not aware, at one point, Mariah May, she decided she was going to throw in the towel and try to save Toni Storm. Now, I don't know if the championship would have been able to trade hands because somebody's throwing in the towel, but Luther stopped Mariah May from throwing in the towel and was like, no, she's going to be able to survive this. Just, you got to work with her. She can pull this off. Stay with it. She can pull it off. Sure enough, Toni Storm pulled it off. Action spills outside the ring. Toni Storm looks at Luther. She sees the white towel. She snatches it from his hand, and she is just mouthing off big time at him. And he's like, wait, I didn't. Meanwhile, Mariah May is just standing off to the corner, and she just has this smile on her face, and she's liking everything that she's seeing. So I'm looking at that wondering, are we starting to see the beginning of the end here with Luther and his incorporation there with Toni Storm? Gonna have to see how it plays out on the next couple of weeks of AEW programming there. But I loved this match between these two girls to the point I wouldn't mind seeing them run it back. Match 4, Trent Beretta taking on Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy going back to his retro theme song. I don't know the lyrics to it. Y'all know the song that I'm talking about. Before he started going 100% all in on Best Friends, it was the previous theme song that he used to have that he came out to. So he went back to that. This match, Orange Cassidy picking up the win, about 13 minutes and change. You know what? I like this match for what it was worth. I thought it was a nice above average match. And look, you know the old saying, when you have two best friends in real life who are working against each other in a feud, they can bring out some really good stuff in one another. And that definitely was the case here tonight. I love that the Las Vegas crowd was booing the hell out of Trent Beretta. I definitely owe some of the community members from the 411 Mania website some weeks back. I definitely owe them an apology, because my concern some weeks back was I don't really think Trent Beretta is getting over as a heel. Maybe it's just me. And some kind of pushed back on that, and they told me, nah, Lee, you're kind of missing the mark here on that one. No, he's getting over. Just pay attention to the reaction that he got from this crowd. Da 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 da. And people were pointing out, hey, if you haven't watched this show, go check this out, because the reaction is definitely there. Maybe it wasn't that on point with this show, but the reaction is definitely there. And it was definitely obvious tonight that the crowd hate them some Trent Beretta. So Orange Cassidy picking up the win. Post-match, Renee Young, Rocky Romero, they tried to catch up with Trent to get his thoughts. But the only thing Trent would say to Renee is that he's done. Rocky kept trying to plead with him, and Trent just pushed the living hell out of him big time as Trent Beretta made his exit through the crowd instead of taking the stage ramp going through the tunnel. So you're kind of left to the impression that Trent Beretta is maybe quitting AEW. Like, what's going on here, right? At least that's the impression that you're being given. Meanwhile, love that Orange Cassidy did a really good job selling the hell out of what's going on here. Where's he going? Like, yeah, I won, but like, hey, I still care about this guy. I want to know what's going on with him. Where the hell is he going? So that's a story in itself that's going to have to continue to be unraveled. We still got Don Callis added into the mix, as well as kind of mixed signals what's going on there with Don Callis. But it seems for now, Don Callis and Orange Cassidy, this is still his pet project. Now, Don Callis had revealed in an interview several minutes after all this had went down that coming up on Wednesday's Dynamite, he is going to be presenting a contract full-time for the Don Callis family. Now, he did not say who he was going to be presenting that contract to, but you can put two and two together and go, yeah, Orange Cassidy, he gonna hook him up. That's going to be a very interesting moment right there. Now, I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys. We're led to the impression that it's Orange Cassidy that's going to be presented with that contract. I think it's going to be Trent Beretta that's going to sign that contract with the Don Callis family. Don Callis, Beretta, Cassidy, there's still a lot in the tank here. We're just getting started with this, okay? So look out for that. Keep that in the back of your mind. Look out for that. Fifth matchup on the card, triple threat FTW match. Chris Jericho defending that FTW championship against Hook and Shibata. I was telling my wife, I said, every time I hear the name Shibata, I think about the yogurt. That's all I do. I think about the yogurt. My God. So he's got the Learning Tree, Demo God, Sexy Beast, Le Champion. What else does he have in there? I mean, it's just, my God, he will just trademark the hell out of any and everything just to draw a buck. But look, real talk, Jericho's in his 50s, and I'm seeing this man in trunks. Now, you guys got to forgive me because I don't watch Dynamite, I don't watch Collision. I just do Rampage and the pay-per-views. That's it. So for me to see Jericho in trunks again, I had to do a double take and just go, wait. He's back in trunks? Like, why? Like, I thought he was past that, right? And this led to a funny moment between me and the wifey. I said, you'll never catch me wearing draws. It's like no, I'm good. Like, I'll stick to the boxers, the sweatpants, and all. No, like, seriously, I'm good. But this match, what do I say about this match? It was, I felt it was overbooked. I felt it was a complete mess, a complete hot mess. I felt it was overbooked like a mofo. Mainly a spot fest for what it was worth. This match should have been much shorter for all intents and purposes. This match, honestly, was not even needed for the card. You could have easily put this on the pre-show. It wasn't needed. Hook, still very green. It was pretty obvious who was guiding who along in this matchup and everything. I thought Shibata held himself up pretty well. But Jericho was the main glue that was making everything be cohesive, trying to make everything work. But, man, there's only but so much Jericho can do, especially at his age. This isn't the Jericho from 10 years ago. You feel me? So, yeah, I was, as far as weakest match of the night, low point of the night, I definitely got to go with this one. And you know what's so infuriating is if you take Jericho out of the equation, and if you just would have presented this as a Hook taking on Shibata, and the winner of that match will definitively go on to face Chris Jericho, I think we would have been much more highly entertained. Shibata, Hook, like that would have been much more entertaining. But because we had Jericho thrown into the mix, definitely a case of, well, wait a minute here, let's really slow things down. And sometimes when you slow things down, it could be a good thing. But then it could be a bad thing as well, because it could highlight so many blunders. And that was definitely the case right here. And as long as I've been watching Hook since he's been in AEW, I'm going to jump out there. I don't know how some of you guys feel, but I just really felt that as far as matches go and all that, I just looked at this match and I just said, yeah, this wasn't really one of his best outings. Not really one of his best outings. I looked at it from the Shibata standpoint. And with Shibata, I said, yeah, you know what? With Shibata, this really wasn't one of his cooler moments since he's been in AEW. So, hate to say that, but you guys, you want honesty, right? I mean, if you want, I can just lie, and I can just be like, great, fantastic, magnificent, ooh, perfect, oh, it was great. Oh, so good. Next match, Jon Moxley taking on Takeshita. I actually dug this match. This was my second favorite match out of the entire card. Moxley picking up the victory, about 18 minutes. Love this. I love this. This was good. You know what? Just the fact that Big Takeshita, I'm a huge Takeshita fan. So, for me, I felt like this was a really great showcase for Takeshita, proving to any naysayers and all that no, this big guy right here, you definitely need to continue to watch this guy. You could be looking at the next AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Some good hard-hitting stuff between these two guys. Takeshita, man, he's been showing up big time in some of his recent matches, has he not? You think about the joint that he had against Will Ospreay. You also think about, did he do something? I'm trying to think. Did he do something with Swerve or not yet? Because if he hasn't done anything with Swerve yet, I think that would definitely be very interesting. But, like, you just go back, you look at some of the matches that he's had within recent weeks, and now he has Moxley added into the mix. Big Takeshi's been stepping up big time. I mean, he's been hitting it out of the park. Even though it's been a losing effort, still, the man is just going in there. He's doing the damn thing. He makes it look good. I mean, he is making it look good. Good stuff. Good stuff. 7th matchup, the barbed wire cage match for the TNT Championship. Adam Copeland taking on Malakai Black. Copeland defending the title successfully, coming in at about a little over 20 minutes. They could have trimmed this back just a little bit, but you know what really made this match really stand out? The fact that, and they got me big time with the entrance, because when I was initially hearing the guitar riffs for Adam Copeland's entrance, I'm going, yo, is my man coming out to some Danzig? What the hell? Because I'm listening to the guitar riff, and you're just going, if you close your eyes, you just listen to the guitar riff, you go, and you know your metal and your rock music, you're going, damn, that sounds like Danzig. But then once the vocalist starts singing, you go, okay, it's not Danzig. But it sounded like the beginning of a Danzig song. And then the fact that we had Adam Copeland rise from this pit of flames like he's coming from hell, you're going, oh man, this has a Brood vibe to it. And sure enough, you get the graphics on the monitors, the Tron and all that, and it says Brood. You're going, okay, this is Brood, Adam Copeland. Okay, that's what's up. This is badass. And at that point, as soon as I saw this graphic show up, I'm automatically going, yo, the numbers game is not in Copeland's favor. Could we maybe see Gangrel? After all, Gangrel is out there in Las Vegas. And I remember a long time ago, there was a wrestling promotion that was based out in Las Vegas that we used to talk about here on the show in the earlier years. We talked about them weekly. I can't think of their name right now. I don't know if it was... I would know the name if I heard it, but it was a wrestling promotion that was based out in Las Vegas. Gangrel had participated in that promotion semi on a part-time basis. Victoria Tara from TNA WWE, she was in there. Jesse Swanson was in there as well. I'm trying to think who else was in there. But yeah, they were based out in Las Vegas, and one of their sponsors was, I believe, Sam's Towing Company. This was before Sam would make the transition to, I'm trying to think. I think Sam ended up working with TNA for a little bit and possibly the NWA promotion. I wish I could remember the name of it, but my whole point of bringing up all this, Gangrel, is pretty much a Las Vegas guy. So for me, okay, you see, I'm connecting the dots here, but for those of you that need a little bit more help, AEW Double or Nothing, they're out there in the Las Vegas area. Gangrel, Las Vegas area, right? So connect the dots. You're going, okay, yeah, we're doing this Brood thing. Makes a lot of sense for Gangrel to pop up. And that's exactly what happened. Gangrel popped up. I loved it. It was a good spot. I love the fact that the crowd in attendance, they knew who Gangrel was. They're on top of their wrestling. They know their history. Gangrel got a nice reaction, right? I wasn't expecting for Gangrel to get some, well, you know something, brother, reaction, or a woo reaction. I wasn't expecting any of that. But I was at least expecting for a decent amount of people to go, hey, I remember this phase in Adam Copeland's career. Yeah, that was a really fun, kick-ass moment back then. And I would say out of 100% of the crowd that was in attendance, it kind of felt as though 40 to maybe 50% of the crowd knew who Gangrel was, what this was all about, and that was good. I can work with that. If it's 40 to 50%, almost half the crowd, I can work with that, okay? So that to me kind of solidifies what Adam Copeland was thinking about trying to have Gangrel. Remember the interview that he recently gave. He tried his best to pitch it in WWE, but powers that be, I'm assuming old man Vince, yeah, the crowd's not really going to remember that. They're not going to care for that. Like, no, forget about it. But here's a case right here where, no, the crowd, they knew, they still appreciate and everything. They still love them some Gangrel. Gangrel, still recognizable. I hadn't seen him that much over the years. I think at one point I used to follow him on social media, if he had social media. I kind of feel like, but he picked up a little bit of weight. Yeah, he picked up a little bit of weight, but he's still very recognizable. I know he recently had tied the knot. Longtime girlfriend, for those of you that might be a little bit curious what the man's been up to. But besides that, he's still been making sporadic appearances here and there on the independents. But this match between Copeland and Malakai Black, I loved it. I do love me a good bloodbath, and these two definitely delivered on that. They were bloodied and gushied up real nice. I loved it. I also appreciated the fact that Buddy Murphy and Brody King, they tried to get him. Brody Lee. No, I said it right. Brody King. Damn, I'm getting my Brodies mixed up. Forgive me. It's late. It's like 1 a.m. You guys got to forgive me. Right? Work with me. I think I'm doing pretty good so far, though. It's way past my bedtime, though. I'll definitely admit that. I'm used to being in bed, trying to chill for the night and everything. But, I don't mind doing the post show because we're pretty much going to be like in and out. And we're doing good so far. We're already at the 41-minute mark, and we've only got like 4 more matches to talk about and everything. Post-match, Gangrel, Copeland, hugging it out. Adam visibly limping, which brings me to this point. If there's one critique, and if I were to take a couple of points off from this match, what the flying hell was up with that spot by Adam Copeland, y'all? For those of you that didn't see the pay-per-view. So let me set this up properly. Copeland gets Malakai Black on this wooden table. He then proceeds to take some barbed wire and wrap it around the body of Malakai while he's on that table. So he's pretty much wrapping the barbed wire around this guy. So if he tries to move, he's pretty much going to cut himself in the process. So he pretty much just got to stay right there. And Malakai Black is pretty much out of it. He is just dazed and confused. He's out of it. So Edge Adam Copeland, he goes to one corner. He starts to climb up the steel structure. You're like, okay, maybe he's going to go for something on the top turnbuckle. Okay, cool. No, he climbs even higher up the steel cage structure. Okay, maybe he's going to stop about right there. No, my man climbs even higher. He climbs to the very top roof of the steel structure in the corner. Wonder what he's going to do right here. Is he maybe going to go for a body splash? I mean, this is Edge, right? Like, Edge don't do moonsaults and all that other crap. Edge is either going to do a body splash or he's going to do a Macho Man Randy Savage elbow drop. My man decides he's going to jump off the top of the steel structure and just pretty much do a flying elbow and essentially landing on his feet while doing it. Dangerous and stupid spot. Seriously, I get that the adrenaline and I get all that, but that is such a dangerous, scary spot to do. To climb that high of a steel structure and you're pretty much landing on your feet. And I tell you, if he would have been a centimeter off, that could have been such a devastating. It looked bad seeing it happen in real time. And I believe we had got a playback. I remember just shaking my head going, what the hell? And shout out to my man, Jason Solomon, because as soon as I saw this spot go down, the first thing that I'm thinking about is, didn't Macho Man do a spot like that in WCW? And he ended up messing his kneecaps. And then sure enough, Jason tweets, like, soon as I'm thinking it, Jason tweets it out. I'm going, yeah, that was bad. Like, what the hell? You got to watch that. I'm sure there's probably an image of it floating around somewhere or whatever, but, like, that was just really, really scary. You don't want to do crap like that. You just don't. And especially when you're that up there in age, you may feel a certain way, but, right? I mean, hell, sometimes I have bad days and my knees feel a certain way, but that don't mean when I'm maybe one day out of the week feeling like I'm 18 again, that don't mean I'm going to just go hop over the guardrail, top of my stairs, and I'm just going to go dropping my ass down into the living room and then pull a risky business and slide my ass into the living room. Like, nah, that ain't happening. That is not happening. So I think when it's all said and done, Adam Copeland maybe took a little bit, I don't know, maybe he was on the Bowflex machine a little too hard and he just felt invincible. Maybe he had an extra bowl of Wheaties, donuts. I don't know what it was, but that was scary as hell. And he was visibly limping when it was all said and done. Next matchup, TBS Championship, Willow Nightingale defending against Mercedes Moné. And I tell you what, man, if the right heel comes along or right character comes along and working a program with Mercedes Moné, my God, just the running gag that you can do with CEO. I mean, you can go skanky, sleazy. I mean, you can just do so much with that. It's not even funny. Here's what was definitely funny, though. The video package that they had for Mercedes Moné in setting this up. So let me see if I understand this correctly. Because these are the women that were playing during this little vignette package for Mercedes Moné. So we pretty much are trying to say that in the same conversation of excellence, these women that are revolutionary, pioneers, changing the game for their respected industry and all that, right? We've got the late Justice Ruth Ginsburg. We've got Olympian Simone Biles. We've got Serena and Venus Williams, the Williams sisters, and what they've done for tennis. And we're going to put Mercedes Moné in that same conversation. Whoa, time out, yo. Time out, yo. Get the out of here. Come on. You got to be kidding me. So off the break, we start with the ha-has. I'm just going, look, can we just get to the entrance already? And, you know, my wife is sitting next to me, and she's watching the Mercedes Moné entrance. And I look at her, and I say, have you seen Mercedes Moné, her entrance and all that, since she's been going under this name? And she goes, no. I'm like, oh, well, you're in for a treat. Tell me what you think. So she sees the whole entrance and all that. And she goes, yeah, I like the WWE entrance better. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm looking at it. I'm just staying quiet. I'm still laughing in my head over, right? Willow Nightingale. I love Willow. Love her big time. I think she got a really bad raw deal here. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, many of us, we called it, didn't we? Many of us looked at this and we said, yo, sucks that Willow's going to be a transitional champion here for Mercedes. But that's exactly what's going to go down, right? And it's almost justified because you're going, wait, if this girl, Mercedes Moné, is getting paid all this money, even though it may piss some of the fans off that her first match, she gets a championship, well, look, all the money that's being paid, like, mofo expecting a return, a big return at that, with interest. But I'm not a fan of it because I've seen Willow Nightingale. I've been a fan of Willow Nightingale's work since I initially was checking her out in the WOW Women of Wrestling promotion. She was wrestling for them under the name Eye Candy. And I remember singing her praises way back then and saying, once I found out the name she was wrestling under on the independents, I remember saying way back then, this was before AEW came into fruition, I said, yo, this is somebody that you definitely want to watch. I can see this person becoming a household name. You know, if you are a wrestling promotion and, you know, you're trying to help build up your women's division, you definitely want to tap into a talent such as Willow. And I thought everything that was happening with Willow before Mercedes came in was on point. I thought she was laying down the foundation very well, especially given the fact that she was making appearances at various promotions, putting the title up for grabs and all that. And here, Mercedes Moné, first match in AEW, and cleanly defeats Willow Nightingale. I wish there could have been some type of controversy involved. I wish maybe it could have been a case where there might have been a roll-up and you could have done something similar to what had happened at the King of the Ring from Saturday, the match there with Gunther and Randy Orton. I wish you could have done something like that just to continue on the feud with these two girls. And that's one of the biggest problems that's going on here with AEW. They rely so heavily on fans. Oh, you know, they'll educate themselves. They'll get themselves caught up to speed. Yeah, we're picking up from essentially a feud that happened outside of AEW that was happening in New Japan. But, yeah, we're going to somehow kind of continue that over here, right? This was still essentially a chapter 1 introduction. They could have easily continued this on, especially given the fact that you've got Forbidden Door coming up in a couple of weeks. You could have easily kept it going and maybe do a rematch there. But it sucks. I don't like what happened with Willow. You know, for me, I put some immediate thoughts out there as far as what should happen with Willow. And this came despite the fact that Willow, when it was all said and done, she got betrayed by Chris Statlander. So Chris Statlander has finally gone heel. She laid out Willow. I mean, look, we knew this was coming a mile away. Many of us saw this, right? You don't need Columbo for this one to know what was going to be happening down the pipeline. But I'm already looking past that, and I'm hoping that when it comes to the men and women's Owen Hart tournament, I'm hoping that Willow will be shown some extra love, and maybe they'll let her become the first ever 2-time back-to-back women's Owen Hart Cup winner. Now, we found out something very interesting by Tony Khan hitting into this pay-per-view, which is the respective winners for the Owen Hart tournaments. They will get world championship matches at, is it All In? I believe it's All In. All In, they're going to be getting the championship opportunities. So I would love to see Willow be a back-to-back Owen Hart tournament winner. We'll see how it plays out. But this match itself, don't get me wrong, both girls, pretty decent chemistry, but they really back themselves into a corner. I kind of feel like, as in my eyes, they kind of hurt Willow. And I think the better way that this should have been executed is it really should have been a case where Chris Statlander maybe cost Willow the championship. I think that would have been more of a oh my God, can't believe this happened. Why Chris Statlander? Why would you betray Willow? Like, what has Willow done to you why would you do that? I think that would have made a little bit more sense. Monet definitely looked rusty in this match. Hate to say that, but I'm calling it as I see it. But yeah, she definitely looked rusty in this one. Pretty jagged. Few areas there. Was what it was. Decent match, though. Decent match. Next up, AEW World Title match. Pretty disappointed right here, y'all. Pretty disappointed right here. So let me see if I got this straight. Young Bucks, Bryan Danielson and them, they pretty much are going to be closing out the pay-per-view. Not your AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Swerve Strickland, who was on that infamous media scrum, proud of the shoes that he designed and all that, putting them on at full display, pretty much saying to Tony Khan, have I got a money-making opportunity for you, man? Bam! What's up? And Tony Khan just pretty much going in a, questions from the audience? Yeah. And next thing you know, Young Bucks, Reebok. I've never seen so many Young Buck shoe commercials in my life. I mean, damn. Can we at least get my man Swerve Strickland a deal with Shoe City? Shoe City's still around. Hey, most of them Shoe Cities are in the urban neighborhoods, but, right? It's all good. Shoe City, right? Can we at least get him some kind of deal like that? Or can we at least maybe, I don't know, hook up with Walmart and be like, Swerve Strickland's new shoes, limited time, exclusively available at your nearest Walmart? Can we do something? Can we do something for my man? I guess not. Anyway, World Championship match. Swerve Strickland defending the title against the veteran in Christian Cage. Swerve Strickland successfully retaining. 24 minutes. Overbooked like a mofo. This match was overbooked like a mofo. Honestly, I just felt all that was not needed. We didn't need the kill switch. We didn't need Mama Wayne out there. We didn't need Nick Wayne out there. We didn't need all of that. We just needed for these two men, lay it all out there in the ring. But was it handled well for the most part, the overbooking? Even though it was overbooked? Yeah, it was. Cage continues to put in some of his best work yet. Just being that guy you despise and you absolutely love to hate. I love that this man can still have the majority of the fans in the palm of his hand, to the point that universally we hate his ass. I just love that. I think that's badass. I think the length of this match, almost going 30 minutes, was not needed. I mean, on the one hand, you're going, this is your world champion. I get that. But then on the other hand, you're going a little bit too long, not really needed, right? And it felt deliberate, the fact that this was going on and on, for so long and everything. But But that to the side, still a fun match. If you can get past the overbooking, all the extra shenanigans that's going on with Team Christian Cage, if you can get past all of that and just really focus on what was up with this match itself, the in-ring stuff was actually pretty good. Tony Khan and them, though, here's my concern. Tony Khan and them, they've really backed themselves into a corner with Swerve Strickland as champion. Let me explain, right? Because that sounds kind of weird hearing that, right? Because on the one hand, you're looking at things and you're going, wow, finally, AEW has crowned. I'm tackling like what multiple people are saying. One side, you've got people going, wow, finally, in the company's history, even though it's been 5 years, right? Might feel like an eternity to some people. Wow, we finally got ourselves a Black World Champion in AEW. But then you got the other people that is not even thinking about race. They're just going, yo, I've been a fan of Swerve Strickland for such a long time. Man, that's fucking amazing that Swerve Strickland finally has reached that mountaintop and he's the World Heavyweight Champion. That's badass, right? But as I always like to say on the show, the chase is better than the catch. Now, don't get me wrong. Coming out of the gate, Christian Cage being served up to Swerve, I mean, that's good. But we need something that's a little bit more, okay, let's really sink our teeth into this, right? We can really help take Swerve to that next level by, and I kind of feel as though maybe some seeds were planted. Remember what I was just talking about earlier with the whole shoot thing, Swerve, Bucks. Let's not also forget that we saw Swerve on recent AEW programming. We saw him cross paths with the Bucks when the Bucks were trying to find out if anybody knew where Darby Allin was and pretty much saying, hey, you know, he's banned from ringside. If you see him, you know, let us know, all that other stuff. So we've seen Swerve kind of dance around the Bucks. So there's been some subtle seeds that's been planted. And I think that under the right circumstances, you can definitely set up the situation for where the elite turns their attention to Swerve. And then maybe during the whole process of that, you know, whenever we do see Samoa Joe. Now, again, I've been catching up on my AEW programming, but I'm kind of led to the impression, unless you all correct me otherwise, Samoa Joe, has he been seen on AEW TV? Because if he hasn't, that'd be kind of an interesting way to kind of have him resurface. And then let's not also forget, now that you have MJF in the mix, it was teased for the longest time, MJF, Swerve. So you could essentially have something come about with all of these participants while still at the same time helping Swerve get that rub off and continue to be elevated as a World Heavyweight Champion. This did good. Don't get me wrong. It's off to a good start for Swerve, but you know we need to give him more meat and potatoes going forward. One match to talk about. Anarchy in the arena, the Elite, Young Bucks, Okada, taking on Team AEW, Darby Allin, FTR's Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, and Bryan Danielson. Good God Almighty! How long was this one? I'm trying to think. I think this one went about maybe 32 minutes, give or take. I appreciate the chaotic, fun energy that they tried to help manifest with this match, right? I appreciate them trying to go with multiple screens, right? But it something felt off about this one. It really, really did. Something felt very, very off. Lengthwise, way too damn long. And you got to a point as you were looking at this saying, man, nothing even matters right now. Like, let's just really bring it home and wrap this up already. Right? The best way I could describe this, it's almost like, okay, over here, there's a guy sitting on the bus eating his bag of chips, and coming from behind him is a snake that looks like it's going to have a field day feasting on the back of his ankles. Meanwhile, there is a group of teenagers that are breakdancing. And meanwhile, while that's going on, there is 3 girls chilling over in front of a convenience store. One of the girls is getting their hair braided by another. And just down the street at the nearby car wash, there's a guy that's getting ready to get pulled over by the police for whatever respective reason. So you've got like these 4 things that's going on, and you're trying to like stay up to speed on everything that's happening, but yet at the same time, nothing looks that, ooh, I gotta watch this. You feel where I'm coming from? It just, I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of entertaining what they were doing with the music at the very beginning, especially when they had the Jackson brothers say, hey, cut that music off, for each time it plays in a loop, we got to cough up $200,000. And Excalibur's chuckling. He's going, it's actually true, I popped on that one. That was pretty hilarious. But yeah, majority of this match, it didn't move me. It didn't excite me. I didn't think it was boring at the same time, but I just felt, right? It was just, It was hard to invest in it. It was really, really hard to invest in it. I checked out. I mentally checked out on this one. The fact that this fight, whatever you want to call it, the fact that there wasn't that emotional context to it, it made everything else that was happening feel so damn hollow, in my personal opinion. It made everything feel so hollow. Even the part where Scapegoat, Jack Perry, he's in the bus or whatever, and you're under the impression he ran over Darby Allin. Like, there should be a more, but it's not, because we didn't see Darby actually get hit by that bus. We saw him get laid out way before the bus even came, but when the bus pretty much ran through where Darby was, we're just kind of left to our own devices. I got to tell you guys, I honestly did not pop until I saw when Jack Perry was set on fire. But then even at that, it was his legs that was set on fire. That was it. His legs were set on fire. I looked at that. I laughed big time. I'm going, wait a minute. I've been set on fire from head to toe. True story. I don't recommend this now. I don't want you guys getting in trouble, so don't do this. But I remember when I was in high school, I remember me and my friends, because we used to do the martial arts and all that stuff, and we were very interested in learning about special effects in movies, stunts, and all that craziness. And one time, there was this situation where somebody said, hey, I know what all goes into setting a person on fire and the limitations, da, 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 da. It was like, all right, tell us more. So we learned more about it from this friend. And we're like, wow, that sounds really cool. So now the question becomes, so who wants to be set on fire? And without hesitation, I go, I'll do it. And they're like, dude, are you, well, yeah, well, what's the problem? Like, let's do it. So I got drenched in all this, right? all this liquid stuff. You know, and my man tells me, he goes, look, you've got about maybe 30 seconds. Afterwards, that's it. 30 seconds, that's it. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do it. Flame on. Man, my pants, top of my shirt, my arms, which were exposed, I was on fire. I'm running down the hallway screaming. It's a fun scream. I'm not hurting whatsoever. I'm not burning, none of that. And I had fellow classmates freaking the hell out. Loved it. It was great stuff. I say all this to mention this point, which is the only thing that scapegoat Jack Perry was doing when his legs were set on fire, he was just acting as if he was trying to do the Elvis pose, you know? That's all he was doing. And he was quiet. I'm a stickler for detail. If you're going to set somebody on fire, like, that mofo needs to commit to that. They need to be screaming. Help me, they need to be doing all that. So it was really hard to even invest in that because Jack Perry was not fully committed to it. And you know what? It's so ironic that I'm talking about Jack Perry being set on fire, because this is going to blow a lot of you all's minds, and I don't see people, there's not going to be one podcaster out there that's going to mention this. You'll like this for full circle trivia. How many of you all remember the hit HBO series Oz? If you remember Oz and you were a big fan, you watched all the episodes, or at least 80 to 90% of the episodes, then you remember there was the infamous season where Luke Perry, Jack Perry's father, had joined the cast. He was a reverend. Long story short, if I remember correctly, I'm about 80%. If I remember it right, I think my memory is 80% on point. Luke Perry's character on that show was set on fire. So, and man, did he sell the hell out of that. So, hey, it ain't like Jack Perry ain't had source material. Okay, we're going to set you on fire. Nah, he just doing the freaking Elvis. Not even saying anything. Just all quiet. Quiet, and he's just shucking and jiving. Like, come on, man. Wasn't a fan of that whatsoever. Darby Allin, the spot with him in the ring, Bucks, the Elite, they wrapped up his ankles, and they basically were trying to hang him upside down, not by his neck, obviously. Like, AEW would have a whole different slogan if they were to try hanging Darby by his neck there. But they tried to hang him by his ankles. I was wondering if they were gonna raise him so high up that he was gonna be up there in the rafters, because my mind automatically was thinking about Martha Hart, and okay, did they clear this with her, right? But as we all would soon see, he didn't get elevated that high. They pretty much did him just high enough, like a piñata at a party, and they were super kicking the hell out of him and everything. Okada with the spot there with the Young Bucks spiked shoes. Try these! I love that. That popped big time for that one. Good stuff. Yeah, there was only just a small handful of stuff that I had enjoyed from this, but the lack of emotional context was really missing right here, especially when it came to, like I said, being set on fire, the bus or the RV, whatever the hell you want to call that. Nothing really right there. Even when they had tried to grab Tony Khan, the Elite, you know, there was even, if anything, it was, oh, what are we going to do to Tony Khan this go around? What fun shenanigans are we going to do with the boss this time? Just very, Jack Perry picking up the win for the Elite by pinning Bryan Danielson. I thought that was a smart move, smart way to do it. Elite, going off the air, standing strong, standing tall. Yeah, okay, cool. That pretty much was the pay-per-view in a nutshell. I honestly, something just told me, yo, I'm not going to be feeling this Anarchy match. Maybe we should have just went off the air with Swerve Strickland. Like, that would have been great. But no, we had to end it on the Anarchy. I felt this was at most a average pay-per-view. With only a couple of matches that you could really go, you know what, this was actually good. You know what, this one was actually on point. You know what, this one was actually fairly good. But, you know, most of this was pretty much, I don't want to say skippable. Maybe the right words that I'm looking for is unnecessary. You know, you can maybe make that argument, but I didn't feel like I was really watching a fight. I didn't really feel as though, wow, you know, we're doing what? If you were there for the first hour of the pre-show, right? But then if you're only doing the main pay-per-view card, that's, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're either doing 4 hours or 5+ hours for this show. And at this point, you get to this main event match, and it just felt so creatively lacking. Painfully, you're just going through the motions, looking at your clock going, yo, it's time to, like, let's get this over with. The fact that Tony Khan is continuing to invest in this idea about the Bucks, it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, you may think this is some good stuff creatively. You may think this is fun, but this could actually be hurting you at the same time. I'll never forget. I remember I was trying to, in preparation for tonight's pay-per-view, I remember I had turned on Dynamite, and I see this intro. I guess it was the new intro with the Bucks, the whole Elite. They're just, and I'm saying to myself, am I watching a wrestling show, or am I watching like some type of male soap opera, like a Dawson's Creek or something? Like, what the hell is this? Like, I'm seeing people I don't recognize in the intro. Like, what the hell? And then they went right into Orange Cassidy coming out. And I was like, woof. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Let me just watch another episode. I put on the next episode. This go around, I see the Young Bucks that's part of the video package. Then I see Edge, Adam Copeland. I see Swerve in the intro. It was tied into a movie. I can't remember what the movie was. If you guys throw the name of the movie in the chat, I'll be able to tell you if that was the movie. But it was part of some package of an intro. I'm going, okay, this is a little better than what I saw with the Bucks. Okay, cool. And when you know it, who's the first person to come out for that Dynamite? It was Orange Cassidy. I thought maybe I did something wrong and I was watching the same show twice, right? But yeah. I mean, on a good note, you can say, well, at least Tony Khan didn't join the Elite, at least not yet. But this was just way too long. This match particularly, it went way too long, totally unnecessary. And it really hurt whatever momentum was built up going up to the point of Swerve taking on Christian Cage. As far as I was concerned, you know, this pay-per-view did not go off the air until close to 12:40. You know, like, if you're keeping track at home, when Tony Khan does an AEW pay-per-view on a Sunday, if you're keeping track at home, this is either his 4th or 5th AEW pay-per-view where he has put on so much wrestling. This go round, he's pretty much justifying it. Oh, well, you know, most families have a 3-day weekend, 4-day weekend, or, you know, so like this is cool and everything. But This one was definitely a little bit much. My main concern right now is for AEW, like, yo, don't burn out your fans. That's like the last thing you want to do right now. You don't want to put so much out there of a buffet that your fans ultimately they're looking at that spread and they essentially are just going, well, rather than eat the whole buffet, I'm just going to cherry pick and I'm just going to do this one and I'm just going to do that one, right? The wrestling on the show itself, not every match was like, there was mostly mediocre matches. There was probably, I would say, 3 matches at most that was, okay, you know what? This is actually pretty damn good. Will Ospreay, Roderick Strong, Toni Storm, Serena Deeb, John Moxley, Takeshita, Copeland, Malakai Black. Honorable mention the Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. So I just gave you guys 5, 6 matches right there. Everything else you could have essentially done without. Everything else you could have essentially done without. Some would make an argument and say, nah, you know what? Swerve and Cage, that was actually the best match of the entire pay-per-view card. Bump the rest. Right? There's going to be some different opinions on that one, for sure. Definitely going to be some different opinions on that one. But other than that, most part, I found this show to be not that interesting. It wasn't a bad show. Don't quote me, don't misquote me now. It wasn't a terrible show. It wasn't a bad show. It's just one of those things where, okay, this seems obvious what's going to go down. Right? It's just kind of one of those type of vibes. Maybe next month's show will be better since it's going to be Forbidden Door. We'll have to wait and see. Meantime, though, let's see how you guys have voted. Now, as far as my number scale, 1 to 10, give you guys a grade letter. I'm going with a C. Yeah, everything that I just factored in, I'm going to go with a C. Number-wise, 1 being crap, 10 being awesome sauce. Six and a half out of 10. I'm not going to go any higher, not going to go any lower. Let's see what's going on with you guys via X, formerly known as Twitter. Shout out to Deontay Rose. Deontay, to the point that I was just making earlier, he says, good show, but Tony Khan needs to start these pay-per-views earlier. Well, I mean, he's essentially starting them at 7 p.m., Deontay. What do you want him to do? He's either got to trim the matches or, right? For me, what makes a good pay-per-view, as far as time length-wise, anytime the pay-per-view avoids the midnight hour. If you can have the pay-per-view go off the air before midnight, you're doing something right, as far as I'm concerned. You're doing something right. Shout out to everybody that's watching via X, by the way. If you want to get your comments in, sound off about the pay-per-view, now's the time. Let your voice be heard about the pay-per-view. I'm seeing how you guys voted on X right now. I'm seeing a tie at 7%, below average show, and terrible show. Meanwhile, 38% of you are saying tonight's AEW Double or Nothing was a good show. And top dog right now, 46% of you felt it was a fantastic show. Appreciate you guys that voted via X. Let's see what's happening with you guys via YouTube over on the communities tab at the RCWR show. See how you guys have voted. 17% of you felt Double or Nothing was a fantastic show, while 33% of you felt it was a below average show. Coming in at 50% top dog right now. Good show. Appreciate you guys that voted via YouTube. Let's see how you guys... Give me a second here. I just got a new notification, or is that an old notification? I thought I got something via X, but nah. That's an old notification. I'm good on that one. All right, so let's go over the cage match because I'm curious. I didn't see it generated yet, but I feel that it's definitely been generated now. I'm curious what people are saying about Double or Nothing. That is, if it was generated, I see that the buy-in was generated, but I'm not seeing anything as far as the actual card itself. I guess they said, you know what, bump this. We'll just do it when we wake up for the day because this is going on much, much too late. Yeah, sadly, I am not seeing. Let me try one more time here. Maybe it's there. I just am not Double or Nothing. Because all I'm still seeing is the buy-in. I'm trying to see. Nope. Nothing is found. Let me try a different phrasing. Hang on, guys. And let's submit. Anything? Wow, nothing. Yeah. So let me try one more time. Let's see, events. Let's try TV and pay-per-view. I'm still just seeing the buy-in. I'm skimming, though. I'm skimming. Yeah. I guess it was too late for them. They said they'll just post it later. So nothing yet from those guys. But we can dig through X and see what people are saying about Double or Nothing. We can do that. Let's see what we got going on here. By the way, did they do a media scrum? Somebody let me know in the comments real quick. Did they do a media scrum, or did they just say, nah, you know what, we're good. We're just gonna hold off on this one? Because, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous to basically do 5 hours and then you're gonna do a bonus media scrum joint. Shout out to Jim Ross, by the way, having some health issues. I guess this go around he was battling some form of pneumonia, but he seems to be in good spirits, recovering. Yo, when you get older, that pneumonia, it ain't no joke. I'm looking in the comments. I'm trying to see. If anybody is commenting. I'm not seeing like a generalized thoughts on the pay-per-view. Let me try one more thing. Yeah, I'm not really seeing generalized thoughts on the pay-per-view right now. Just one or two spots here and there on like some matches, but not enough to like really get a good gauge on what people are thinking about the joint right now. Yeah, that's it. All right, let's go back into the comment section. This is your time. If you guys had saw the pay-per-view, feel free to sound off and let me know what you thought about the pay-per-view. Otherwise, we can definitely wrap it up. I mean, I ain't tripping. It is Memorial Day officially. So for those of you that celebrated in the United States or wherever you may be, definitely do it in style. I still don't know what I'm going to be doing for Memorial Day. I think wifey wants to cook. I'm not sure. I got to confirm with her. But I know as far as what's going to happen Monday night. So WWE, they've got 3 weeks to go before Clash at the Castle? I keep saying Cash at the Castle. I wish there was Cash at the Castle, because I'd take my black ass over there. But no, WWE Raw, they're going to be doing their Memorial Day edition. So keep in mind they've got 3 weeks to go until their next premium live event. So I'm 50-50 right now. Large 50% of me is going, I'm going to be live after Raw goes off the air. So tune in. I'll definitely be around. And we'll dive into that, talk about the latest in headlines for sure. I do want to recognize our sponsors while we're still on the air, especially our newest sponsor, because, man, They had reached out, and I was most happy to communicate with them, and I'm happy to have them on board for the next little bit and everything. So I definitely want to make sure we show them some extra love. Of course, I'm talking about the good folks over at Ancient Supplements. You can check out their store by visiting ancientsupplements.store. Make sure you type in ancientsupplements.store. ancientsupplements.store. It is a veteran-owned business by a disabled veteran. And the supplements, FDA approved. They've gone through all the respected tests, everything. So if you're looking for supplements that can make your bones stronger, give you extra energy, that extra boost, you need help as far as clarity goes and everything, focus, all that, check them out. Happy to have them on board as a sponsor. Also want to give a shout out to our guys over at the Orange and Blue Glory. If you're a diehard Florida Gators fan and you bleed orange and blue, check out Orange and Blue Glory. They have a vibrant Facebook community that's dedicated to celebrating every touchdown, every victory, and every moment of Gator greatness. Orange and Blue Glory is where passionate fans come together to share the latest news, game highlights, and insider updates on their beloved Florida Gators football team. You can participate in discussions, show your team spirit. So whether you're celebrating a big win or analyzing the next game, they are your place and home for all things Gators. Check them out on Facebook today. Also want to give a shout out to our good friends over at moderntech.co. Get your website and software ERP services done right. 100% satisfaction is guaranteed. They are the best place for mobile applications and web apps. Get your Android and iOS app done right at great discounted prices. Check them out today, moderntech.co. Appreciate working with all of these great sponsors. They help us out big time. Without them, shows like what you're checking out right now would not be free. I promise you. All right, so that is going to do it. We're going to stick a fork in it because we've now been going about roughly 90 minutes. The fact that we're out of here, though, much shorter than the pay-per-view itself. Hopefully this gives a lot of you guys some stuff to think about for those of you that did not see the pay-per-view and everything. But keep the conversation going. I know there's going to be many of you that are going to be trickling on in after the fact, right? So while you're enjoying Memorial Day, and you happen to check this out on demand in the download, sound off. Let me know your thoughts about the pay-per-view. Depending on the volume of comments that we get, maybe we can follow up on the Monday night show after Raw goes off the air. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on downloads. Wherever you get your podcast, just search the RCWR show. You can follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Until next go around, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. A very good morning. Happy Memorial Day to you all once again. I'll see you guys for the Monday night show after Raw. Take care. Peace.